We have some new, very disturbing reporting this evening from NPR about the Trump campaign, and this story as a whole just really summarizes the operation they have going on over there. Because according to this new article, which you can see on your screen right now, Trump campaign staff verbally abused and pushed an Arlington National Cemetery official who tried to prevent them from filming and photographing at the burial site. Now, Donald Trump held an event at Arlington the other day to honor the memory of 13 American soldiers who died in Afghanistan, but Donald Trump wasn't actually honoring their memory. It was a campaign opportunity. It was a photo op, and this story kind of further proves that this photographer or whoever on the Trump campaign was assaulting people at Arlington National Cemetery to ensure that they got the photo, to ensure that they got the video. If it was just to honor these soldiers, there wouldn't have been that big of a deal. They wouldn't have been assaulting people to get this photo. But of course, we know why Donald Trump was there. It was so that he could get his photo and post it on social media and pretend to care about fallen American soldiers. But in actuality, he doesn't. So this article says, quote, two members of Donald Trump's campaign staff had a verbal and physical altercation Monday with an official at Arlington National Cemetery where the former president participated in a wreath-laying ceremony. A source with knowledge of the incident said the cemetery official tried to prevent Trump staffers from filming and photographing in a section where recent U.S. casualties are buried. The source said Arlington officials had made clear that only cemetery staff members would be authorized to take photographs or film in the area known as Section 60. So before we even go any further, just think about how messed up that is, right? This is an area where recent fallen American soldiers are laid to rest. Their families have mourned them. The country has mourned them. And instead of respecting that boundary, respecting the boundary set out by the cemetery, controlled by the army, Donald Trump's campaign said, no. These fallen American soldiers, it's our turn to use them. Their service wasn't enough. We can't just be grateful for their service and respect the boundaries and the privacy. We have to now use them for a campaign opportunity. Is that not just gross? Doesn't it just make your skin crawl with anger that Donald Trump just looks so low of our fallen soldiers? He just thinks nothing of them, thinks nothing of their family. He thinks that his photo, his picture with their graves is more important than their boundaries, their respect, their privacy. It's disgusting. Anyway, the article continues saying, when the cemetery official tried to prevent Trump campaign staff from entering Section 60, campaign staff verbally abused and pushed the official aside, according to the source. So you have this citizen employee of Arlington National Cemetery, and they're trying to do their job. They're trying to honor their soldiers, our soldiers, Americans' fallen soldiers. And in response to that effort, they're attacked and verbally assaulted by the Trump campaign. Look, as I just said a moment ago, and I think this will be a reoccurring theme that we see throughout this story, this is a perfect summary of the Trump campaign. A perfect summary. It's never actually about the substance. It's never actually about the people. It's about what's better for Donald Trump and what helps his campaign the most. And in this instance, what's good for Donald Trump, what helps his campaign, is assaulting people and verbally assaulting them as well, just so he can get his picture. It's gross. It's really gross. It really says a lot about who Trump is, who the people are around Donald Trump as well. It's not just him, it's his campaign. These are campaign staff. They're following the orders of the man in charge. Disgraceful. It continues, saying Trump participated in an event to mark the third anniversary of a deadly attack on U.S. troops in Afghanistan as U.S. forces withdrew from the country. And again, this is just that, a context of why he was there, but of course that's not actually why he was there. The article says, in a statement to try to justify this attack that's now been reported by multiple news agencies, in a statement to NPR, Stephen Chung, the Trump campaign spokesman, strongly rejected the notion of a physical altercation, adding, quote, "We are prepared to release video footage, if such defamatory claims are made. The fact is that a private photographer was permitted on the premises, and for whatever reason, an unnamed individual, clearly suffering from a mental health episode, decided to physically block members of Donald Trump's team during a very solemn ceremony. What? Can you believe that that is the excuse? They're trying to say that an official who's working at Arlington National Cemetery was having a mental health episode, and that's why they were trying to block Trump's campaign staff from taking pictures of graves that they're not meant to be able to. Not only is that just an insane excuse, I mean, it's clearly like conspiratorial and total garbage, it's incredibly disrespectful. Not only to Arlington National Cemetery, not only to the people who are laid to rest there, but also this official who is dedicating their time to working at Arlington National Cemetery. He's doing his job, or they're doing their job. And apparently, because they're doing their job, according to the Trump campaign, they're having a mental health episode. It's gross. It actually attacks people who have real mental health issues. And it's really, again, emblematic of the Trump campaign. When someone isn't allowing them to do whatever they want, to stomp on the graves of fallen American soldiers, then they're having a mental health episode. It's not that they're just following the laws or doing their job or whatever the instance may be. They must be a bad, evil person who's having a mental health episode, and clearly they're in the wrong, not their Trump campaign. It's their fault, not mine. It's always their fault, not mine with the Trump campaign. But here's the bad part for Trump and his campaign. Here's where it gets really kind of iffy. The Trump campaign is saying that, hey, we'll make this footage available. However, as NPR writes, the Trump campaign declined to make that footage immediately available. Apparently, this footage would exonerate the Trump campaign. It would exonerate these officials, but they're not releasing it. They're not putting it out. Just curious, isn't it? In a statement to NPR, Arlington National Cemetery said it can, quote, confirm that there was an incident and a report was filed. Federal law prohibits political campaign or election-related activities within Army National Military Cemeteries to include photographers, content creators, or any other persons attending for purposes or in direct support of a partisan political candidate's campaign. Arlington National Cemetery reinforced and widely shared this law and its prohibitions with all participants. So obviously, Arlington National Cemetery is in the right here. That the Trump campaign shouldn't have had photographers there in the first place. It's expressly prohibited. They were informed that it was prohibited. They did it anyway. And when they were stopped, the individual was assaulted. As somebody, I just can't, it's so frustrating that this person who's dedicating their time to a cemetery where fallen American soldiers have been laid to rest was assaulted by a Trump campaign official. Now, as we know, Trump and his entire team have this very rough history when it comes to our service members. They don't respect veterans. They don't care about fallen American soldiers. Donald Trump said that fallen American soldiers are losers and suckers. He insulted John McCain, an American war hero, a Purple Heart recipient, said he wasn't actually a war hero and that he likes people who weren't captured. And of course, as of late, recently, Donald Trump tried to compare the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which can be given out to anybody, by the way. Rush Limbaugh, for example, has one. And he tried to compare that to the Congressional Medal of Honor, which is given to people who went above and beyond to serve their country. Just take a look at that clip here.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's and they're rated equal.
Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Trump has this long resume of disrespecting our military members, our veterans, our fallen soldiers. And he's comparing the medals that they get with Presidential Medal of Freedoms that can be given out to anybody. And now his campaign is assaulting people who are working on behalf of the American people, on behalf of these fallen American soldiers, on behalf of our service members around the globe. That's the Trump campaign, ladies and gentlemen. The Biden-Harris administration have dedicated their lives to serving the public, have dedicated their lives to serving veterans and our service members. And of course, they passed the PACT Act, which now over 1.2 million people, including veterans, 1.2 million veterans, are now getting health care from. On the flip side of this election, you have Donald Trump, who disrespects our veterans. His campaign staff is assaulting people who are working on behalf of our fallen American soldiers. And Trump thinks that these very fallen American soldiers are losers and suckers. This election is the easiest choice we'll ever have to make as Americans. So let's make the right one. Let's not vote for this. Let's not vote for assault and verbal abuse. Let's vote for decency and people who actually care about our service members. It's just such an easy choice. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this story to your attention. The disrespect, the disgusting behavior. I mean, it's just awful. And I'm really excited to hear your thoughts. So make sure to leave a comment down below on what you think about all this. Of course, subscribe as well. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy. It would mean a lot. And as I always say, I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And of course, I hope you're doing well.